Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that all of you are having a good day. Today's video is going to be about a fragrance from the house of Emir and their Frenetic line, and it's called Frenetic Delicieuse. Now this thing is a very nice clone of Dior's private line Fève Délicieuse. As usual, first I'll go through the packaging and the presentation and bottle design of the fragrance. The fragrance comes packaged in this white colored box. It's quite simple looking, but at the same time quite classy, and it's somewhat similar to what Dior's packaging usually is, although their fragrances usually come in black colored box, but it still feels kind of the same. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, you got the concentration, which is extrait de parfum in this case, or the highest possible concentration, the bottle size, which is 80 milliliters. On the bottom there's a production date, which is May of 2023, and then this is how the bottle looks. It's again somewhat reminiscent of the original fragrance that it's cloning. You got a plastic cap that's actually magnetic, which is always a nice touch. The magnets aren't very strong, so you should not pick up the bottle through the cap, but still, magnetic cap is a nice touch. And then on the top of the atomizer there's the logo of Paris Corner as well, as you can see, although it's not very accurately stamped on. The bottle has a nice heft to it. It's quite heavy actually, and all in all, if I have to score the packaging of and the bottle design of a Frenetic Delicieuse, I'll give it a score of 8 out of 10. If you enjoy my videos, guys, and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. That will mean a lot to me. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Okay, now we'll talk about the note breakdown of this fragrance. And as per Paris Corner official website, the note breakdown of this fragrance is the following. The top notes are lavender, mint and bergamot. The middle notes are sour cherry, jasmine and freesia. And the base notes are tonka bean, vanilla, cacao, caramel, praline, benzoin, milk, sandalwood, leather and cedar. Now if you look up the original fragrance on Fragrantica, you'll see that this actually is the exact same note breakdown, which is kind of questionable in my opinion, because some of those notes I don't pick up at all, but we'll talk about this now. The sprayer actually feels kind of like it's pressurized, although the spray that it puts out is not too big, so you probably have to adjust the number of sprays with this fragrance when you're using it. And now let's talk about the actual scent of this fragrance, or what I pick up out of it. The opening is quite spicy. I pick up a note that it's not listed. I definitely pick up a note of cinnamon that adds quite a lot of spiciness in the opening of this fragrance, but you also immediately pick up the amount of sweetness with this one. I immediately pick up the vanilla. I immediately pick up a touch of the tonka bean, which adds a slight powderness to the opening of this fragrance. I definitely pick up a slight hint of a tobacco note in this one in the opening. There's definitely a chocolatey vibe. I don't know if it's a cacao. To me it smells more like a real chocolatey note. And all in all, this is right from the get-go, it's very sweet and it's spicy. As I said, this scent doesn't change much in its dry down. The only thing that in my opinion happens is the fact that the sort of the spiciness from the opening starts to fade away a little bit on the dry down. You don't pick up much of the spiciness and it becomes even sweeter. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, in the opening I pick up sort of a boozy note out of this fragrance. Maybe it's the sour cherry that comes off like a boozy type of note, I'm not too sure. But on the dry down, you still keep that boozy note. There's a lot of sweetness from the vanilla, a lot of sweetness from the chocolate, and all in all, this is a super sweet fragrance, especially on the dry down. And now on to the question of how close Frenetic Delicieuse is actually to the Fève Délicieuse, the original fragrance from Dior. Now I don't own the original fragrance, I've tried it a few times, so I'll sort of compare them from memory, the original scent and this one, and I'll say that this is quite a close fragrance scent wise to the original one. Now I see two main differences. I pick up two main differences between this and the original. The first one is that the original has a stronger cherry note in it compared to this one, so it has a sort of stronger boozy vibe out of that one you get compared to the Frenetic version. And also the other major difference that I pick up between this and the original is the amount of spiciness that you get out of this fragrance, the clone compared to the original. So if I have to score the closeness between this and the original scent, I'll give it a score of somewhere between 8.5 to 9 out of 10 points. Let's say 8.5 out of 10 points. Next, let's talk about the performance of Frenetic Delicieuse. Now this thing is a pretty strong fragrance. It's not super long lasting, it's not a beast mode performer, but I get about 8 hours of performance on my skin out of this fragrance. And also it's quite a loud type of scent because of that you know, sweetness that you get and that spiciness, that cinnamon note that I pick up from the opening of this fragrance. This thing is pretty loud for the first hour and a half up to 2 hours. It's quite a strong projector. And as I said, the total longevity on skin is about 8 hours. So if I have to score the performance, I'll give it a score of 8 out of 10 points. When it comes to the price tag, I'll quote the prices, the price that I paid for this fragrance, and I paid roughly about the equivalent of $40 in order to acquire Frenetic Delicieuse. And if I have to score the pricing of the price tag of Frenetic Delicieuse, I'll give it again a score of 8 out of 10 points. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is, of course, the versatility. Now, being a super sweet fragrance, definitely it's not super versatile. It's definitely more orientated towards the cold weather months of the year. But you can probably wear this one in warmer weather as well, as long as you don't overspray. You have to go a little bit lighter, you know, with the number of sprays. And also because of the amount of sweetness with this fragrance, I think this is a perfectly unisex scent. Now, if I have to score the versatility, I will give it a score of 7 out of 10 because of how sweet this actually is. And on to my final thoughts about and my final score of the Frenetic Delicieuse from the house of Emir. This thing is, you know, when it comes to the original scent, at least as far as I know, there aren't that many alternatives or clones. So Frenetic Delicieuse is probably your best bet at the moment of getting a clone of the original Fève Délicieuse from Dior. And keeping that in mind, if you're looking for a clone of Fève Délicieuse, you definitely need to check out, you know, the Emir's fragrance. Now, I'll give you a few cons and a few pros of this fragrance. The first thing is that this is a very sweet fragrance that's, you know, perfectly unisex, great for cold weather usage, especially, you know, fall and winter nights, in my opinion. It's a very cozy scent. It has high quality, you get very nice presentation and packaging. The bottle design is nice, you get a magnetic cap, you get good performance, about 8 hours with strong projection. So all of those things are pros about this fragrance. The bad things about this fragrance, the cons of this fragrance, first of all, I have to mention the fact that you get only 80 milliliters of bottle size instead of the 100 milliliters that is standard, you know, for most fragrances out there. And the second con will be the fact that this is very sweet, a very sweet fragrance. So you need to like super sweet fragrances in order to enjoy Frenetic Delicieuse from Emir. But if you do, again, as I said, this thing is a really nice alternative to the original fragrance from Dior. If I have to score this fragrance, you know, my final score about this one is going to be, let's say, an 8.5 out of 10 points. So in today's video, I showed you a very nice clone or alternative to Fève Délicieuse from the private line of Dior that comes from the house of Emir and their Frenetic line, and it's called Frenetic Delicieuse. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.